Hello, hi everyone. This is Barb Mangami, also known as Coach B. How's everyone doing? Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. Please, as you hop on, say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you are catching me on the replay, please type replay in the comments and I'll be sure to come back and love on you at some point. If you're new to my following, just touch my face. You'll see 3 lines in the top right. If you tap on those lines, you can hit follow and come and follow me and hear whatever it is I have to say. I like making new friends, new connections. So please do stop by, say hi. So, guys, I just wanted to come on here a little bit and talk about success. And the reason I want to do this is because I've been, writers and people like me are very nosy. So I've kind of been eavesdropping on people's conversations. Yes, I've been eavesdropping. Don't have conversations around a writer or creative person because we are gluttons for other people's conversations, okay? So anyway, I'm here because I wanted to talk about success. So I want to tell you a little story. And this story has to do with my upbringing and where I come from. So when I was growing up, I remember, first and foremost, I grew up in Zimbabwe. For those of you who don't know, I grew up, was educated in Zimbabwe, left home when I was about 18 years old, right? And up until that time, one thing that I can remember very distinctly is that as we were growing up, older women in our neighborhood, older women in the community, older women in my family would always say things like this. No matter how many degrees you have, no matter what kind of job you have, if you are not married, you haven't accomplished anything. And I used to hear this over and over again in different forms. So, for example, if you guys get any value from this, please share this to your pages, share this to your friends. This could be a conversation that could open up a whole nother conversation. But I wanted to share this because it's so important. And I would listen in on conversations sometimes and, 2 adults would be talking and they would talk about how this so-and-so's daughter had done so well for herself. She went overseas, she got her master's, then she got her PhD. Now she was back and she had this cushy job. And then you would hear, but no husband. And I kid you not, it was as though the fact that she was not married would totally negate everything else that she had done with her life. And I wanted to address this because I come from that school of thought, right? Not me personally, but that's how I grew up. That is the environment in which I grew up. And I remember being young and being very rebellious because I never heard such conversations about men. I never heard conversations like, oh my God, he went to the city and he got himself a job, but he's not married. I never heard that. I never heard marriage being used as the ultimate measure of success for a guy. And so it used to make me feel so rebellious. And I remember at some point I was like, you know what? F this. I'm not getting married. Matter of fact, I'm going to be a nun. Because everything that we were brought up to believe, nothing you did was worth anything until you got married. And so I just wanted to ask you guys, I think I have a multicultural group of people here. What is your measure of success? How do you define success for yourself? So I've defined success for the community out of which I came. Things could have changed by now, mind you, I'm an old woman now. So back then, this was the measure of success. And if it wasn't marriage, it was, she hasn't got a child. So it was always something. It was never about you and your own personal achievements as an individual, but it always extended to whether you could be identified as somebody's wife or as somebody's mother. So first thing was the most important was to be identified as somebody's wife. Then if that didn't happen, well, then you know what? She's in her 40s, biological clock, ovaries are shriveling up. Maybe she should just have her own child. Nobody could ever look at a woman as just her and look at whatever it is she'd done in her life, be it her education, be it getting a home, getting a car, be it, even what she did for the family in terms of helping out at home. You'd think that would have been a big deal. No, she didn't have a husband and then she didn't have a child. So I just wondered for you guys, like, what is your measure of success? How do you measure success? Because when I look at life, like for myself, I don't measure my success based on the labels people choose to put on me. I'm very rebellious like that. So this idea, and you'll hear people say this, oh my God, you're married, well done. It's like, is marriage an achievement? I don't think marriage is an achievement. I think it's a milestone in life, but it's not an achievement. Therefore, I don't measure my success by whether I'm married or not. Oh my God, you're a mother, you've got children. Yes, I've got children. I don't measure my success by the number of kids I have. However, I do measure my success by whether I raise decent human beings. And I know that I don't control all the variables around how I raise my kids. But if I can raise decent human beings and somebody one day turns around and says, wow, what a legacy, I'll accept that. I'll accept that as an achievement. But birthing, carrying a kid and then birthing it for me is not an achievement, okay? There are women out there who are birthing kids left, right, and center. That's not an achievement. And again, why are women's activities, why are women's successes diminished if there is no kid or is there no marriage? So that was for me. And I wanted to ask you guys, for me now as an adult, fully empowered and not caring what the hell anyone thinks, for me, success is what brings me joy. How much joy do you have in your life? Because it can't be about money. Because I'll tell you something. You can have money, and if you were miserable before you had money, you will be miserable after you get money. And when I say miserable, I mean like miserable. If you were somebody who was mean before you had money, you're going to be mean after you had money. Nothing's going to change. If you were dissatisfied before you had money, when you have money, you will still be dissatisfied. And so what I'm asking you is, what are the things that give you deep joy? And these things are not necessarily monetary. They're not even necessarily tied to certificates. Like where I come from, education is a big thing, okay? So this whole first degree, master's degree, PhD, blah, blah, all this is really important stuff. But I know people who've acquired all those things. All those certificates are lined up along the wall, right? The kids are there. They've got the beautiful kids. They've got the huge home and they've got the husband. They've got it all. But guess what? They're still not happy. They still have no joy. And so for me, over time, I've come to realize that success is not tied to anything material, be it that individuals or human beings or whatever. Success is tied to how much joy you have in your life. What are the things that set your soul on fire? These may not necessarily be things that bring you an income, but they make you so joyful. Well, do more of those. How many people are in a job where they're making, 6, 7 figures, but they hate their job? They're depressed every single day because they have to go to this job. They get a fat paycheck at the end of the month, but they're not happy. Everybody else will say they are successful, but I can tell you that these people deep inside do not feel that they are successful at all, because success is tied with joy. So how are you successful if you're miserable, right? And so I just wanted to challenge this because, like I said, there's so many people in this world, particularly women, and you know me and my sisters. I'm like, I have a heart for women. That's why I love sharing my stories and I love hearing what's going on with you guys. And I literally love giving you guys permission to be you and to pursue the things that make you feel joyful and that make you feel successful. Don't let success be defined for you by someone else, whether it be by your family, whether it be by your community, whether it be by anybody. Define success for yourself. And if you find deep joy in the definition you give to yourself, that's amazing. There's so many women who go to their grave without ever having fully realized the things that give them joy. And so you cannot continue living your life to please other people. You cannot. You just cannot. There comes a point in your life where you start, especially like in our 40s, when we start realizing that we're going downhill after that. We don't have that much time. How long are you going to continue living somebody else's vision and dream for you and calling it success? if inside you feel empty and hollow, if inside you wake up every single day with discontentment, every day you wake up and you're asking yourself, what is the meaning of all this? Can you call that success? No. Someone else has defined it as success for you, and you've kind of gone along with it. But there comes a time where you can't go on with it anymore. You cannot go along with it. And that's when you have to have the courage to define success for yourself. So what if you don't have a kid and you're 40? So what if you're in your 40s or 50s and you've never been married? If you want to get married, it's a different story altogether. I can understand how you can be in your 40s and wish you were married. But is it your desire? Or is it the desires of everybody else around you? And is it ultimately now yours because you want to fit in? Like, you got to be so honest and authentic with yourself. Is this my dream? Is this my measure of success? Or is this somebody else's measure of success? And I think so many of us would be so free. So many of us would be so free if we allowed ourselves to follow those things that give us joy and to do those things that make us feel successful. So, I hope you got value from this. If you did, please share this out to your groups, share this out to your friends, share this out wherever, save it for yourself for a rainy day, whatever you need to do. But I love you guys, and I thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.